Hello, everyone. I am Chez Rusununguko, the 12th grade dean for the class of 2021. I want to take this time to welcome everyone, especially our parents and our guardians who have chosen to tune in and be with us during this senior cohort parent meeting. It's an opportunity for us as a cohort to just speak to you and share with you some foundational information, some earmarks that can facilitate success of your student this particular year. So I'm just glad to have you all here. Now I want to do some what they call house business real quick. I think there's some things that I think impact what we do, what our students do, and what we're able to do that we sometimes don't talk about. And I'm going to take this opportunity to do that. Parents, guardians, students, I want to talk about the 2020 census. Now, you understand that the census is very important to schools, our neighborhoods, our resources, what's available to our students to help facilitate them being successful. So that deadline is coming up for the census. So if you have not done that, I'm encouraging you to do that, okay? Be counted, take the census, get the numbers that we need so we can get the money that we need in our neighborhood and in our schools so that we can support our students and provide them and their families with the resources that they need. So hey, 2020 census deadline is coming up. Don't miss that. Very good. Now, some other house business. We have some construction going on campus, and parents, if you've been trying to drop your kids off or if you've been driving by on 16th Street, it's a different configuration. If you are dropping students off or picking students up, you have to come in from 21st Street or Mid-Hartford in the mornings between, I would say, 7 a.m. and 7:15. You have to drop off during that time because you cannot enter the 16th Street side. The same thing applies in the afternoon, picking up. You got to pick up at door 1. You got to come in to street 21st Street and Mid-Hartford. So a little housekeeping business, got to make you aware of that. Once that is finished on 16th Street, it's going to be nice, and it will facilitate the traffic flow through our campus in a much better way. So just want to take care of that housekeeping stuff, information. And let me go on now to just kind of deal with how I open up meetings that we have with your students. I always talk to them about our students' success handbook. This book talks about the right of your student getting an education by law, but it also talks about your students being responsible, doing the right thing, being intentional. Being intentional is the theme of our class of 2021. We've been emphasizing that through all our meetings. I've been talking to students about that one-on-one. You have to be intentional, making the right choices that facilitate your success. So you have a right to get an education, but there are responsibilities that come along with that. And so you have to do what's appropriate for your success and appropriate for other students' success. Now this year, there's some other choices we have to make, and I want to just thank all the students and the parents for participating in what we're doing to be safe in regards to the COVID-19 virus. Students, parents, as you're entering the building, you're wearing your mask. Continue to do that. We thank you for that. We thank you for the social distancing. We thank the students for sitting at their assigned seats during lunch. So we want to encourage students and parents to keep doing what we need to do to be safe and keep everyone safe. Parents, we want to ask you also to always ask those screening questions of your student before they come to school if they're experiencing any of the symptoms related to the virus. And if they are, as we have said in many announcements and over social media, if they're experiencing any of those symptoms, you need to keep them at home for their safety and the safety of others, and then contact our nurse, and she will direct you in regards to what you need to do. So, hey, just want to, again, welcome everyone here, parents, guardians, and even students. If you're sitting in on this meeting, We have some good information that we're going to share with you. Again, information that is foundational to the success of your student. So I have a cohort team. I want to introduce them to you at this time. And so as you look at that slide, this is our cohort team. Going from, I guess, your left is Miss Naylor. She's the academic coach. Then we have Miss Jackson. She's our cohort secretary. A wealth of information. If you contact her, she will direct you to where you need to go. That is I in the middle. Next is Miss White. She's the counselors for students L through Z. And next to her is Miss Hankley. She's the counselor for students A through K. We are what your students need and what you need to and what your students need to make use of throughout this year for their success. Ask us questions, come by, call us, email us. We're here to facilitate the success of your students, but they have to, and you as parents, I'm going to challenge you, you have to be intentional. Don't wait. Talk now because time is clicking away. You have to be intentional, your students have to be intentional so that they can be successful during this time. Now we have two guests, resources that assist us greatly. They've done that the last 2 years. We have Ms. Shrugs right there. She can wave at you right quick. With the Urban League, she assists our students with college preparedness and career readiness and just working through what they need to do to be successful. Mr. Fletcher, he can wave also. He's here, I think, every day, and he'll speak later about where he's from. He's connected with IU, I believe, and he's available to help our students facilitate the SAT testing, the ACT testing, along with college preparedness and career preparedness. So we're here. Be intentional. Make use of us. We're here for your success. So at this time, we're going to move on. Again, thank you for being here. This is the class of 2021. Hey, we want to have a great year. We started off great. We want to end great. And just enjoy that and celebrate that throughout the year. So some positive procedures, I want to just reinforce you, just things that have to be done, that you have to be intentional about. For those individuals that are here in person, you got to be in class on time. You got to have your IDs. You got to make choices that facilitate safety. You know, not opening the doors for anyone, being where you're supposed to be at. You got to be respectful. We talk about core, civility, order, respect, excellence. We want you to do that. And then the 10-30-10. And parents, guardians, if you're not aware that what we have put in place to just kind of manage students in the building is that when they're in class, the first 10 minutes of class, they cannot leave class to go to the bathroom or go do something else that they may be asking to do. Within the next 30 minutes, yes, if it's deemed appropriate, the teacher can allow them to go to the restroom or do something else that they may be requesting. And then the last 10 minutes of class, they are not allowed to leave the class. So we put that in as a means to manage student flow and to facilitate a safe environment and have less students in the hallway. After school, as usual, students should not be here unless they're with a coach, sponsor, or teacher for a designated and specific purpose, not just to hang out. And always check your email, all the social media, and etc. Virtual, basically the same thing. Attendance, sign in, turn in your assignments by 11:59. You got to be engaged in your work daily. That's your attendance, and that's how you keep up with your work. No, you're not in the building, but you're still in school in the mindset of being in school. You got to communicate with your teachers. It's very important if you're virtual because you're not here where you can get that immediate feedback. Communicate via phone calls, emails, the Zoom meetings that they have when they make themselves available. And again, check your email daily. So some positive procedures that lead to productive activities and ultimately success your senior year. So keep that in mind, positive procedures. Stay connected, be in the know. Now, this year, more than any year, we have used social media in a way that's very intentional, because that's the only way we can communicate and get out all the different things that we have to do differently this year. So check with your email daily. You get information from your counselors, your teachers, and your staff members. You have to do that. The way we're set up now, if you miss something, you put yourself 2 days behind. Take note of this right here where it says your Warren email account will be disabled June 2021, and you will not be able to access it after that time. So you've already been told this by your counselors. Please create a non-Warren email account to use after that date, so that you can still continue your correspondence with colleges, scholarships, and setting up Parchment, even with places of employment, even with military, because I know people are looking at different tracks to go, from college to military to trade school and things of that nature. You got to be in tune in communication with them. So make sure you have that non-Warren email set up. So just take note of that. Any questions about that, get with me or your counselors. So at this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Naylor, the academic coach, to come on and just share what she has to share with you. She has some valuable information. Make use of her for your success. So Ms. Naylor, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. R. Again, I am Mrs. Naylor, the academic coach for the senior class. And what I do is I just provide extra supports for the seniors in the class. And what you're seeing on the screen right now are some of the available supports that I can help to provide. You look at number 1, that's tutoring that we have that's available for our seniors. So if there are any of your students that are interested in receiving any type of tutoring, we can help them get set up with that. This particular tutoring is specifically for our class. It's a peer tutoring program that we've designed specifically for the seniors, and it's made up of peers, so it's a great resource for our seniors to use. Also, number 2, the Moorhead Community Center, academic coaches are there Monday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m., and we're there to provide additional resources to answer questions that parents and students may have. Also there at the Moorhead Community Center, you may remember that's where the technology department is. For those of you that are virtual, are bringing your department, your computers there for particular assistance that you may need. And then of course, the third thing that was on the screen is the academic coaches Zoom meetings that we have at 1 o'clock on Fridays. And that's for students who may have specific questions about something pertaining to their classes or things of that nature. So what you're seeing on the screen right now on the left-hand side on that flyer, those are the specific support services that academic coaches provide. So if you see number 1 on the left side, the teacher resources, I can help students with accessing the teacher's synchronous check-in times, and that's really important and a great resource for the students to the teachers in case they have questions about particular academic work that they're doing in Canvas. I can also help students access the teachers' emails and get in contact with their counselors if they need. Going over to the right side, the Canvas navigation, I can provide assistance for students who may need help walking through Canvas or navigating through Canvas, and I have different tips and tricks for easier access for them for that. One of the things that you need to know is that every student needs to complete an exit ticket or an attendance question every single day. So I can help them locate that and understand how they need to do the exit ticket and how to submit that. Apex assistance. For students who have Apex as a platform for credit recovery or even initial credit, if they're not familiar with Apex and that platform, I can help walk them through that to show them exactly what they need to do on Apex and how they can navigate through that particular platform. I also can assist students with giving them names of teachers and counselors and different people who are able to unlock and assist them with their quizzes and things like that in Apex outside of school. And just different supports there for organization and how they can pace through Apex. Academic supports, again, that just includes things like tutoring. If they need different tutoring services, we can provide that. Organizational guidance is something else that we can also provide. And with the organizational guidance, I can talk with students and help them come up with a particular plan that will work for them on how they can organize and structure their day so that they could have a more productive learning in their virtual learning space. So if there's a student that needs a plan for scheduling or how they can schedule their day and organize their day, I can help them to develop that. And we'll create something that will be specifically for them, that will work for them as they learn through their virtual space. And the last thing there, mental breaks. It's a tough time that we're going through right now, and different people have different ways of processing it. So academic coaches are here to support different ways that we can show students on how to take mental breaks from their academics and different ways that they can lower stress as they are working through their virtual learning. So again, as support for the senior class, I'm here. On the previous slide, you saw where the information was, where you can contact me. You can feel free to reach out to me via email. If you would like, cnaylor@warren.k12.in.us. Also, my phone number is listed there, 317-532-6261. You can feel free to contact me there. And again, if you are in the area, you can visit Moorhead, or the Moorhead Community Center between 11 and 1, Monday through Thursday. I'm specifically there on Thursdays, but there will be an academic coach there Monday through Thursday to help assist you with your needs. Thank you. So at this time, I think Ms. Hinckley is going to speak to you about some important information as well.
Thank you, Ms. Naylor. So there are a few things that I am going to touch on: Parchment, scholarships, FAFSA, and 21st Century Scholars. So if we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So the first thing I want to talk about is Parchment. My hope is that all of your students at this point have already set up their Parchment account. If not, then you need to have them do that now. As soon as possible, because Parchment is the company that we use to send your students transcripts for when they're applying to colleges, scholarships, anytime that they are doing something that requests a transcript. Parchment is where they will go and ask for that transcript to be sent. They don't email us and ask us to send them. Parchment will send those requests to us, and then that's how they get filled. So they need to make sure that they are using a different email address than their Warren account, because they will want to continue to be able to use Parchment after they graduate. So down the road, when they're applying for even students that are going into the workforce, anything that down the road is going to require transcripts, they want to be able to access their Parchment account to send those transcripts. So that's why it's so important that they're using something other than their Warren account, because they're going to continue to use this for years to come. Mrs. White has sent a video out to all the students through their school email that tells them how to set the Parchment account up. It's a YouTube video that she has shared with them that walks them through step by step on how to set that up. It makes it a very easy process for them, and then tells them, as you can see on the slide, it talks about, you know, how to request your transcript. That's also covered in that video, so it's a great video to help them get started and understand how to set it up and to use Parchment. So please encourage your students, if they have not done that, to get that done. And Ms. White actually just resent that information to the students today, so they don't have to go digging through their emails. They can look at the ones they got today and find that and get that done. So on the next slide, you'll see stuff about scholarships. So a lot of students I know are already applying for various scholarships. Mr. Thompson, he works in our office. He has been sending to your students emails any local scholarships that he or the school is made aware of. He is then sharing that information to the students through their emails. So as it was said earlier, and it'll probably be said many more times during this presentation, it is so important that your students are checking their emails every day. I don't want to see them miss out on a great scholarship opportunity because they're not checking their emails. So any questions they might have about those scholarships that he sends out, they just need to email him back with those questions, and he can help them with that. Also, you'll see there's some additional scholarship websites on this page that students can go to. My recommendation is that they apply to as many scholarships as they think that they might be eligible for. If they're unsure if they're eligible for it, but think they might be, go ahead and apply. It's not going to hurt. There are so many scholarships out there available. They just need to get in and start digging into some of these websites and do some research on their own and get going on that. We also sent out a link for a meeting that took place last week through Invest Ed for parents to attend, and we had that last, I think it was Thursday. It was a wonderful, very informative meeting. I have shared with students through their email that they taped that for us. So I have shared that video with students and encourage them to share that with you so that you guys can sit down together and watch that Invest Ed. I think it was like 35 minutes long. They shared a lot of great information about financial aid and about FAFSA. And so FAFSA, time to do that is coming up. October 1st is when that will open up for students to be able to begin filling out their FAFSA. So it kind of goes through that process a little bit as far as like what documents and things that you'll want to have together. For example, on here you'll see you use your 2019 tax returns. So it goes over a lot of that type of thing, as well as other financial information in that Invest Ed YouTube video. I reshared that with them today. So when you have the opportunity here in the near future, I encourage you to sit down and watch that. Again, I will point out what's bolded on there, different email address. This is another point where you've got to make sure that your student is using something other than their Warren account when they are filling out that FAFSA paperwork. I also want to say, it caught my eye on here, advertisements. So I do send, and Ms. White is sending lots of information out to your students through their emails, but I also put things out on Twitter. So if you haven't followed us yet on Twitter, please do. It's the 2021, I can't remember exactly how it's worded now, but if you go there, we're the only 2021 for Warren. And so please follow us. We're sharing things out that way as well. All right, next slide, please. The next area that I want to cover is 21st Century Scholars. So if your student is a 21st Century Scholar, they would have signed up back in 8th grade during middle school because that was the deadline for students to be able to apply for that program. It is a wonderful program, and so if your student did apply in 8th grade and was deemed eligible for it, then they would have been working all throughout high school with Mr. Clark on meeting the different requirements that they have to meet each year to stay eligible for their 21st Century Scholars. So there are, as you can see here, certain GPA they have to have. They have to have all the requirements for the Core 40 diploma and complete those activities that I was talking about that Mr. Clark does with them each year. And there are activities this year that are really important that he either has already met with your students about or will be meeting with them and getting that completed. So if they have or you have any questions about their status or just anything related to 21st Century Scholars, please contact Mr. Craig Clark at that email address that's on the screen, and he can answer any questions that you would have about that. Okay, I think then we are ready for Mrs. White.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mrs. White, and I have last names L through Z. Ms. Hankley and I work very closely together on all of the items that she just shared with you and the items that I'm about to share. This is such an exciting time. Your student is about to graduate from high school, and that is such an amazing milestone that we all want to celebrate. But just like anything, there is a checklist and requirements to get to that point. And I want to be very intentional about sharing what your student needs. And Ms. Hankley and I are reviewing transcripts on a daily basis, but it's also very important that your student knows where they stand with classes and have they passed everything and have they met that requirement. So the slide that you see currently is the course and credit requirements for a Core 40 diploma. The Warren Central High School requires that you have 42 credits, and you can see there that they're kind of broken down. And I'm just going to give one specific example. English language arts, you have to have 8 credits. Well, your student is in high school for 8 semesters, so that means they have to earn an English credit every semester. Let's say they didn't earn one, then that means that they might be recovering that in Apex, which Ms. Naylor mentioned earlier, or maybe night school if it doesn't fit in their day school schedule. So we have lots of ways to be creative in order to get the credits. It's just very important that your student understands passing classes in order to meet the graduation requirements to earn their diploma. I might also mention really quickly, there are lots of students earning our academic and technical honors diploma. Those students have 47 credits that they must meet, again with additional requirements set forth by the state of Indiana and Warren Central. If you move to the next slide, please. Along with those graduation requirements of classes that we offer during the day, a student has to pass ISTEP, math and English language or arts, or have a graduation pathway. So some students will graduate with all their core credits and passing ISTEP. Other students will graduate with all their core credits and a graduation pathway. I want to be very specific. I know that there's a lot of questions about pathways, and so we've tried to spell it out here, and I'm also going to narrate these slides a little bit. Box 1 is the previous slide that I showed, all your credits. Box 2 is your employability skills. Those can be earned through a project-based learning, a service-based learning, or a work-based learning experience. And those, that employability skills has to be verified by a form. And we have those forms via email that you can print off, or we have them in the CSC, the Counseling Services Center, that you can pick up a hard copy. That form verifies that your student has learned employability skills that they're going to someday take out into the real world, and that is proof that they've earned those skills through high school. The third box of your graduation pathway is the post-secondary ready competencies, and that can be earned by an honors diploma, a certain score on an ACT or SAT, ASVAB scores, the CTE concentrator, which are your career technical education credits that we offer through our Walker Career Center, and or through AP or dual credit courses. A lot of our students earn those, that box 3 through either the ASVAB score or your CTE concentrator. The reason that I am really emphasizing this is because all 3 of those boxes have to be checked off in order to earn your graduation pathway. And again, this is an alternate to passing the ISTEP. So if you don't pass the I-STEP, we're striving for a graduation pathway. Next slide, please. This is an example when I talked about the verification forms. These are what the forms look like. The top of the form is filled out by the student, very general personal information. And then the bottom is what is taken to the employer if the student has a job, or a coach or sponsor if they've been in a club or sport at the high school. This fulfills box 2. They're turned back into the CSC, and Mr. Thompson, one of our staff members, helps put those on our spreadsheet so that we can check it off our list. Next slide, please. And I want to mention the I-STEP. As I shared, our math passing score is a 271. English language arts passing score is a 244. So if your student is going to use the I-STEP as their graduation, ticket, then they have to have those scores. They may also use the grad pathways as I talked in length. And then we also have waivers. And so if a student has not passed I-STEP, or does not have a graduation pathway, we will look at getting them a waiver for their high school diploma. There are many requirements that we have to meet, namely GPA, attendance over the entire 4 years of their high school career, as well as some of the remediation classes or resources that we offer, and your student took advantage of those. I want to make sure that everyone knows that the waivers are not guaranteed, but we are certainly looking at every way to get our students across the stage. We know that everyone is working hard on a daily basis, which brings me up to one thing that I want to mention about the Warren community. Our staff and our students and our families are resilient. We have gotten to this point through a lot of growing pains in this pandemic, but I want to commend all of you for staying with us and for working hard and knowing that this is a partnership. We have to do this together to get our class of 2021 across that stage. And the individuals that are on this meeting are definitely working around the clock to provide you with the documents that you need, the information that you need, and the support. So thank you very much for all of that. And that's it for me. I'd like to turn it over to our next awesome staff member, Arnetta Scruggs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arnetta Scruggs. I am the Indianapolis Urban League's Project Ready Program Coordinator, AKA we call each other the College and Career Coaches here in Warren Township. And our program, the Project Ready program, is an evidence-based year-long college and career readiness program designed to mentor, coach, and develop youth from the 9th through the 12th grades. We participate, we do a lot of different group discussions. We do mentoring and coaching. We bring in guest speakers. Right now, we're doing everything virtual. Presently, we do group sessions, like I said, virtual through Zoom, and also we're going to start doing in person. We do academic support, college planning and development, social and cultural development, college tours, which will be virtual right now, community service opportunities, and also scholarship opportunities. We, as a part of the Indianapolis Urban League, actually provide a scholarship to our students as well. If you are interested in getting your student involved, please, please, please stop by the office, and we can definitely make sure that they get an application, get a folder of information that has to be filled out from you, from the parent, and then we can start the process and getting them prepared. We also provide utility assistance and rental assistance as well, as long as the student is a project ready student. So again, if you have any questions, please email me. Thank you. And now I will turn it over to Mr. Fletcher.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Fletcher. I'm, as Mr. R said, a part of the College Advising Corps at IU, which is under or part of AmeriCorps. And pretty much our focus is college enrollment and completion by delivering personalized, knowledgeable guidance on college admissions, financial aid, and enrollment. So pretty much here, I'm trying to create a college-going culture here, trying to get and make students realize that they have every opportunity to go to college if they want to. But at the same time, we all do recognize that not everybody wants to go to college, and that is fine. As Ms. Scruggs said, we are here for both just any type of post-secondary, which includes college or just job readiness, trade school, tech school, and many things like that. Could you go to the next slide, please? So with that being said, with my job, one thing I do focus on is SATs and ACTs. As you know, in this current situation that we have with COVID-19, a lot of tests are starting to get canceled, or the size of the population that are taking tests are starting to get reduced. With that being said, I have to stress that please make sure that if you plan on taking a test, register as soon as possible. Try to get into a test, especially if you're 21st century. If you're a 21st century scholar student, I need you to understand that you are currently still required to take the test to earn your 21st century scholarship. So with that being said, 21st century students, please make sure you get registered as soon as possible. I also handle waivers. If you qualify for a waiver, please reach out to me and I will give you the codes. And with the ACT, which is on the next slide, Mr. R. Could you go to the next slide? Okay, there we go. Same thing applies. Please make sure to register either for the SAT or ACT. I do need to stress for 21st century, either or works. You don't have to take both, but either or works. I also have waivers for the ACT, so please just make sure to get in as soon as possible to take the test until we get word that as 21st century students, you're not required to take it. But the beauty, or I don't want to say the beauty about this year, but one of the things about this year is a lot of colleges are either test flexible or test optional. Test flexible simply means that just for this year, they're allowing students to apply without having test scores. Test optional simply means that the school as a whole decided from this year on that students may apply without having test scores. So please make sure you research on what schools you plan on applying to and find out if they're test flexible or test optional. It would be very important, especially if anything changes. So just please make sure to do your research on the schools. And the next slide. So with that being said, as me and Ms. Scruggs have discussed, I'll simply talk about the 2-year associate degree programs and 4-year bachelor's degree programs. I have, if there's information that your child needs to know, if you're planning on going to college, because there are many options about college. You don't have to go to 4 years. You can easily go to a 2-year school, get your associates. Or if you decide to go to like a bigger university like the IU's, Purdue's, Indiana State's, it's a lot. I know it's a lot for students. Sometimes it's a lot for me that you have to provide a lot of information. You have to, find out a lot of things about the school, but that's just the beauty of it that you're starting to learn to do for yourself. We're here to guide you, but at the end of the day, once you leave, you're going to start doing things as an adult. So with that being said, please make sure to use these resources that are at your hand with me, Ms. Scruggs, Ms. White, Ms. Hankley, Ms. Naylor, and Mr. R. Please utilize your resources because we want to see you successful not only here but outside of high school once you graduate. I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Scruggs so she can talk about the strategy of work in trade schools and military.
Yes, so as Mr. Fletcher talked about and as we have talked about today, is that everybody, they're not going to college, right? But we want to make sure that we are preparing you for after graduation. We're preparing your student for after graduation. And so straight to work, we're here to help with job readiness skills. One part about what we do is we'll help you fill out that job application. We have connects with different businesses in the area. If your student is in need of a job, right, in employment, or if you're in need of employment, We also, through the Indianapolis Urban League, we have certifications. So everything that's listed as far as electrician, plumber, we can provide certifications in those areas as well, not just for your student, but also for you as a parent. We also have connections with the military. So if your student is interested, he or she states that they're not interested in working or they're not interested in going to college, then we can connect with the military if they're interested in going to the Navy or any of the different services. That's what we're here for. So even if you don't even know what the next step will be for your student and your student has questions, they can always reach out to us, and that's what we're here to help you with. Next slide. We can go to the next slide. So resources. So we are here again to be a resource for you and your student. That means that if your student, they're just not sure. They don't know what decision to make. They have so many things. They want to be a doctor. They want to be a lawyer. They can always go to these websites that are listed. There's Naviance, there's mymajors.com, there's Big Future through College Board, and there's Indiana Cooter. And those different resources and those different websites will definitely help you and your student see what they're interested in and the majors that they might be interested in going into. We can always help with that as well. So you can always reach out to myself or even Mr. Fletcher, and we can go through, you can enter your information, or your student can enter their information, and we can find out what would be best for them. We also have other resources that we partner with, community resources, which is the Center for Leadership Development, which is COD. The website is listed. Myself with the Indianapolis Urban League. Again, there are a wealth of information, not just for your student, but also for the parents, for the whole family as a whole. And there's also Bloom Project, which is a mentoring program for our youth. So again, if you have any questions, there's a wealth of knowledge on this call today, and we are definitely here to help you.
Well, great. There's a lot of information that's been shared. Information is empty if individuals choose not to make use of it. So we encourage you as parents and your students to be intentional and make use of this information. As the slide says, work hard, dream big, never give up. Be intentional. We are here to help you. So a lot of information. There may still be questions or clarification that you need. Feel free to call either of us. So, hey, a lot of good information. I thank my colleagues for just sharing that information. Again, we're here to help you and your student make use of us. And I guess lastly, anything else that anybody has that they think they would like to share that may have come to mind as we were talking? Well, of course, I have something. So another highlight for Warren Township, Moorhead Community Center. If you have not heard, in the near future, Warren Township will be opening a Moorhead Community Resource Center. And that center, again, is to support our neighborhood, our students, to lead to success in school and out of school. They'll be offering services to families and the community. Services involve mental health counseling for families and individuals, substance abuse education and support groups, registration assistance for health insurance, tutoring services, foster care support, Latino support services, healthy relationships education, nutritional education, food and clothing pantry services through Sunny Day, mentoring services. So we're talking about reaching the whole person, the whole child, the whole student, because we have to have everybody involved. And we have to deal with all aspects of what it means to be a student, a person in our community to lead to the success. So, hey, thank you so much, parents, guardians, and even students for tuning in to us. Hey, we are available, as we've said over and over. Don't hesitate to contact us. Hey, check all the social website platforms. We are sending information out. Make use of that information. Be intentional. So, hey, let's continue having a great year. Everybody, take care.